Chapter 2. Dark Cries, Confronting the Spirits. Jake and Mia had reached the church and had entered it. They had expected to find a place of worship, but instead they had found a place of horror. The church was dark and gloomy, filled with cobwebs and dust. The pews were broken and scattered, the altar was stained and cracked, and the windows were shattered and boarded. The walls were covered with graffiti and symbols, some of which looked like blood. The air was heavy and oppressive, and the silence was eerie and unnatural. They had walked around the church, looking for anything interesting or unusual. They had found nothing but decay and desolation, and had been disappointed and bored. They had started to lose interest, and to wonder if they should go back to the inn. They had not noticed the change in the atmosphere, or the shadows that were lurking behind them. They had not realized that the night had fallen, and that the moon had risen. They had not heard the faint whispers, or the distant cries. They had not seen the lost souls, or the parade that was forming. They had not felt the madness, or the temptation that was growing. They had not known that the curse had been unleashed, and that they were in grave danger. They had not known that this night would be their last. "Jake, this place is boring. Let's go back to the inn. Maybe the others have found something more exciting," Mia said, yawning and stretching. "Come on, Mia, don't be such a chicken. There has to be something cool here. Maybe there's a secret passage, or a hidden treasure, or a ghost," Jake said, grinning and winking. "Or maybe there's nothing but dust and dirt. Jake, this is a waste of time. We've been here for an hour and we've found nothing. This curse is a hoax, and this village is a dump. Let's go back to the inn and have some fun," Mia said, pouting and whining. Mia, you're such a party pooper. Fine, let's go back to the inn. But first, let me take a picture of you in front of the altar. It'll be a great souvenir," Jake said, taking out his camera and pointing it at Mia. "Fine, whatever, but make it quick. I don't like it here. It's creepy and cold," Mia said, walking towards the altar and posing. Jake smiled and pressed the shutter button. He looked at the screen and gasped. He saw Mia smiling and waving, but behind her he saw something else. He saw a figure dressed in a black robe and a hood. He saw a face, pale and skeletal. He saw eyes, red and glowing. He saw a mouth, wide and grinning. He saw teeth, sharp and bloody. He saw a hand reaching out and grabbing Mia's shoulder. "Jake, what's wrong? Why are you looking like that?" Mia asked, turning around and following Jake's gaze. She screamed. The figure was real, and it was standing behind her. It was not a ghost, but a lost soul. It was one of the villagers who had been driven mad by the curse. It had followed the parade and had entered the church. It had seen Mia and had decided to make her its prey. It had grabbed her and was about to bite her. Mia struggled and kicked, trying to free herself from the creature's grip. Jake dropped his camera and ran, trying to help Mia. He reached her and punched the creature in the face. The creature snarled and released Mia and turned to Jake. It lunged at him and bit his arm. Jake yelled and pushed the creature away and grabbed Mia. He ran towards the door and opened it. He saw the street and the moon. He also saw the parade. The parade was real, and it was passing by the church. It was not a myth, but a curse. It was a procession of lost souls who had risen from their graves and haunted the living. They were the dead, who had been killed by the witch or the curse. They had followed the parade and had left the cemetery. They had seen Jake and Mia and had decided to make them their guests. They had surrounded them and were about to welcome them. Jake and Mia saw the parade and froze. They saw the lost souls and panicked. They saw the figures, the creatures, and the apparitions. They saw the faces, the eyes, and the mouths. They saw the hands, the claws, and the teeth. They saw the horror madness and the temptation. They saw the curse and they screamed.